Hi, this is John Boy, and this is an editorial that has been taken down from Facebook at least 20 times. The longest it's ever stayed up for is about 10 minutes. And after I get done reading this editorial, you'll probably wonder why, because it's just facts. So I'll begin by saying this is dedicated to Walter Cronkite. The downfall of American journalism in America. There are two words you should familiarize yourself with before reading this commentary: proactive and reactive. Proactive journalism is a contradiction. That is to say, if it is truly proactive, how can it be journalism? Isn't a true journalist supposed to be unbiased and report only facts that are not tainted with emotion or opinion? Let us take a look at the definition. Proactive: serving to prepare for, intervene in, or control an expected occurrence or situation, especially a negative or difficult one. Anticipatory: proactive measures against crime. That's the definition. The active word in this definition is control, that tirelessly heap their liberal agenda on the hyper-obtuse masses. So how did we arrive at the devil's doorstep with this hyperbole and sensationalism? When was the media news gingerly slipped around the gullible nation's throat? In my opinion, it began as a well-intentioned attempt to add more depth to an otherwise drab reporting. For those of you that remember the Vietnam War, there was no proactive journalism. Even Walter Leland Cronkite, born November 4th, 1916, and died July 17th, 2009, would never stray into that arena of personal opinion without first making a disclaimer that what he was about to say was, in fact, an opinion. The broadcasters at CBS would announce, "And now an editorial from Walter Cronkite." He would always finish his opine with a parting, "And that's the way I see it." The dominion of reactive journalism was sacred, and no one dared to cross it. But with the end of the Vietnam War and the interest in the country's adventure and space exploration waning, strove to make news more interesting, more of a product, if you will. Well, that did not seem to satisfy the producers and the number crunchers. So news shows began to spring up, and we saw the rise of Phil Donahue, 60 Minutes, and would-be drug pirates like Geraldo Rivera in all sorts of outlandish costumes. You really must know that when a blood-sucking attorney like Mr. Rivera becomes a journalist, there must be some money in it, right? Soon it was found that ratings could be manipulated as easily as the content of what was being reported on. When these news magazines first started up, the line between proactive journalism and reactive journalism began to see little erasure marks, places the producers thought they could get away with it. As time progressed, it was found that sensationalism could be enhanced by providing opposing viewpoints from both sides with little substance and much emotion in the character of the content. News started to become an event, not a report. And so we have arrived at the current day, a place in time where reporters have a definite objective in mind and cleverly mix opinion and emotion in with a few facts and even more outright lies and distortions of the truth. Journalism, as a reactive body of information, is a long-buried corpse. Gone are the days that you can listen to a broadcast and actually get credible information about whatever topic it is that you wish to be informed. We've arrived at a point whereupon listening to a radio, television, or internet report, you must double back and verify everything that is reported. And even then, your odds are 50-50 that your research will be accurate. To be sure, the old phrase, "Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see," is wholly accurate of today's media. The result is that the masses are manipulated and oftentimes whipped into a frenzy because the head of a large corporate news agency wants to bend the will of the people. And the sad fact is that people are so stupid that instead of venting their anger on reckless media vampires, they bicker with friends, neighbors, and colleagues, each one basking in a frustrated, subsatisfied state of mind, believing him or herself to be right. Today's media is about as trustworthy as being locked in a cage of venomous snakes during an epileptic seizure. No matter how hard you try, you're going to get bit by lies laced with little shards of truth to convince you that what you're hearing is based on fact. Here's one fact. The only way you can ever know something is true nowadays is if you are present and situationally aware when a newsworthy event takes place. Only then can you know, without any lingering doubts, just what the facts are. I'm not going to dispense with the usual advice of, wake up people, the media is lying to us. Instead, I'm just going to say that the vast majority of you are just plain stupid. And it's your own fault. When the country we love so much ends up being a fond memory, you only have yourselves to blame. And that's the way I see it.